The question of escapism is something that's been important to me. As someone who spends time watching movies, anime, reading manga, every now and again it would feel like something would crawl up the back of my spine and ask me, is this pointless? And very quickly I would flash to all the amazing experiences I've had with entertainment, and I would have the opinion, no. But I have found that question to actually be useful rather than demeaning. When many talk about escapism, it's all about not looking at one's responsibilities. Now, I do think that can be accurate. I don't feel like it gets at the real essence of what escapism is, and often gets mixed up with self-regulation. Perhaps many people go through the experience of other people discounting their hobbies. That personally hasn't been my experience. People tend to just keep to themselves. But I have seen people make many videos, especially from the gaming community, trying to justify their hours of playing as not merely running away, but an immersive experience. So I can't disregard it even if it's not my own experience. Now, I'm not going to talk about that. I do think one should look at their responsibilities and do them if necessary. And I do think any form of entertainment can be used to run away if done too much. That is a real experience that exists. But I think we can conclude that people and myself derive genuine joy from the things they decide to engage with, and therefore it cannot be passed off as childish or uneventful. In my experience, it is very thrilling to do these things and very important to me. But that question of, is this pointless, made me think about something deeper, which is, when is it pointless? When is it not? When am I fully enlivened by what I'm doing? And when is it just to cope with something? And when am I running as a form of escapism? So instead of looking at how others may have opinions that gaming or watching TV shows is a waste of time, I want to tackle the nuances of how media is used in different ways. I want to have a more internal conversation about it because I feel like the social conversation is being thoroughly explored by others. I want to explore how media can be used for escapism, self-regulation, and then activated immersion. I'll begin with self-regulation. I've noticed when I'm hella tired after a long, awful day of work, or just no reason at all, that can happen too, I'll have this urge to watch something to glue my eyes onto because I just want to be taken to another world, something to get my attention. I've noticed this experience is when I'm using the media as a form of self-regulation. I just want to distract myself, really. I think it would be ridiculous to call this experience an activated experience. I don't feel anything, coursing through me. But I do need something to ground me. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what I did realize was that I wasn't fully present, or not as present as I could be, which actually came as a bit of a shock. Now, the shock wasn't that I was tired. The shock was that I was seeing that maybe I had the capacity to change something. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing self-regulation because I think it's important. But this realization allowed me to consider something a bit more novel. And because of that, I created a new standard for myself. I wouldn't watch anything new when I'm in that state, because when I am, I'm not fully activated. Knowing I just wanted to be distracted, my self-image of being someone who truly valued art and media was questioned. I was like, am I actually revering this medium the way I should be, or I feel like I should be? Maybe not. So I made a rule for myself that I cannot watch anything new when I'm in that state. Because if I'm not fully activated, I'm just using it to regulate myself, and I think new art deserves my best attention and the highest critique from me. So then the natural question came along, when is my attention the best? Well, I found it's when I have energy, and I'm very clearly wanting to consume something new. Something I've been doing is, prior to any activity, I'll close my eyes, take deep breaths, and picture myself watching a new show. And if that image doesn't elicit an excited response within me, I won't go through with it. Because I know I'm not in the space to engage with something that I need to fully invest myself into. And so I'll know that I'm probably just needing to self-regulate, so I might watch something that I've seen before, or maybe I'll just chill. Like, when you want to give your best time to something, you're essentially giving your best energy to that thing. And I think it's important to provide your best self to something because it's an indication of what you care about. You could also use this in relationships, right? Like you're providing your best self to the person you're with, or are you merely just hanging out to like tick a box? I met my friend, tick. I think we can energetically feel that on some level if it feels like that, when someone is not really there for it. But at the same time, we know social interactions regulate us. So is it all bad to do that? No. But I'm just wanting to shine a light on the difference of being activated and not. Now, I know people will say, well, we have to work and work makes us tired. And yeah, work does make us tired. But even after work, there are still spikes and valleys in your energy. It's not just like this depleted state that you're in. So even if your overall energy is down, that doesn't mean that there aren't those peaks and valleys. So why not give your best self to the places where those peaks actually exist? Once again, what you give your best self is an indication of what matters to you. When someone decides to provide their best self to a piece of art, I think at this point, the argument that this could possibly be any form of escapism is thrown out of the window. Like, you cannot consider it to be escapism if you're fully activated in an experience that you're having. When I'm experiencing peak pleasure based on something that I'm watching, like something I truly enjoy, there's no way I could be running from something. For it to be escapism, it would have to be running away. If anything, I'm using my time and energy on something I truly value, because if I did provide my best self and I felt drained watching some media, then most likely I'm supposed to do something else. And I know a lot of people stick with things that they're not supposed to, and that's also a real experience that's happening. Like, I feel like the body, or more accurately in my opinion, like the heart, is providing like signals all the time of what to move towards and what I should be doing. And following that really removes me from any escapist tendencies completely. And it's not even self-regulation, it's for having a fully activated experience. The reason why I went into such detail for this is because I see the topic of art and escapism always discussed as, people aren't allowing people to have fun or enjoy what they enjoy. And I think while that's, important, and I think it's really important from like a messaging point of view, I feel like there aren't enough videos that really delve into like the individual's experience of like the nuances of what it means to like actually experience something. So to summarize, escapism would be running away from something, like using art. So that could be responsibilities, your negative emotions, like numbing yourself from something that you need to see, and then watching something so you can escape from that. I'd rather just distract myself with this thing so I don't have to look at like the horrible thing in my life, that kind of stuff. But yeah, for it to be escapism, you have to be running away. When people are in a bit more of a tired state and they're engaging in media, that's using media as a form of self-regulation. This is similar to eating a snack or scrolling through YouTube one after the other. Now, it might sound bad to compare, watching like an art piece to like just, scrolling like the shorts or something. But that's not really what I'm trying to say. I just believe that like the individual state, so their bodily state, has an effect on when they're engaging with something as well. And that's why I'm saying using art to self-regulate isn't that different from eating a snack or scrolling, because in a way you're not fully there for it, but that's also not its purpose. The purpose is to self-regulate, while the purpose of escapism is to genuinely run away. So I think it's tricky to notice, am I running away or am I just self-regulating, especially when it comes to one's own emotions. But I think hopefully I've outlined the differences, and hopefully that you guys find that useful. And then lastly, we have watching or reading something with one's best energy, and this is when an individual is fully present and engaged. The person is activated fully, and therefore whatever they engage with, they're fully present with. And then if you want to enhance that even further, you would be checking with questions like, what am I in the mood for? What kind of atmosphere should the game or story have? These questions based on your own personal desire will allow you to pick what's best. And then you have a fully activated individual alongside something you truly want to engage with. And this can never be considered escapism, because you're not running away. If anything, you're moving towards.